No shortage of ideas. Well done to Nation Builder and Mergon Group for actually being a seedbed and creating the platform for those ideas to come to life. Our next speaker, backstage, really nervous. I said to her, why are you nervous? The hard work has already been done. You've put a solution in place. That's this third of the conference that we're going to, is solutions that are already in play and working and making a change to so many South Africans' lives and changing their narrative. So she's a social entrepreneur. She's a founder and director of Umgibe Farming, Organics and Training Institute. She's a winner of numerous awards, including the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2017. Why would she be nervous? Who knows? Talking to us today about starting a garden and growing a business. Please welcome Nonhlanhla Joye.
In the rural areas, unemployment could be a thing of the past. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I needed to find a way to feed my family even though I wasn't working. Using plastic bags, I created a frugal, climate-smart system to grow organic vegetables. The system is very easy to use. You save water, the yields are higher, it can be erected anywhere. I realized there was more food than I needed, so I started selling, and the next thing, I had a business. Today, I'm working with 51 cooperatives. In 2017 alone, I won 11 awards. Recently, I won an award that made my heart melt, the Stop Hunger Award. Now, I'm going to build 912 climate-smart farms. My purpose in life is to stop hunger. Good morning, everybody. I think I'm one of the most blessed person in the universe. I'll tell you why. Because in 2014, I was diagnosed with cancer. And many people think that is a bad thing to happen to somebody. But for me, it changed my life. Because for the first time in my life, I found myself unable to work, unable to assist others as usual. This time, I was the one that was in need of help. But when you normally work with people and help them, they think you're fine, even when we are no longer fine. So, as a mother, I found it difficult to know where the next plate was going to come from. But I grew up in a rural area, in a place called Mapumulo, where my father and my mother taught me how to farm. Until I was 18 years old, I never knew that you buy vegetables or fruits because everything was there at home. So when I got to a stage whereby I could not provide for my family, I reverted back to the thing that I hated most when I was young, farming. I decided to grow vegetables in my backyard. And they were growing so well. But one day I came outside, I found all my vegetables gone. The chickens from the next door had eaten everything on sight. When you live in a township, one thing, if the chickens eat your vegetables, no one knows whose chickens they are. But if you eat the chicken, you're gonna find the owner of the chicken. So I didn't know what to do. For 3 days, I could not come out of the house. But, you know, when there is an organ in your body that is democratic, it's the stomach. It doesn't care whether you are rich or poor or whatever. It doesn't give credit. It says, I want it and I want it now. More especially when you're taking treatment, you need to have that food, and good food at that. So I had to think of a plan of how to grow vegetables without the chickens from the neighbors eating everything. And that is when I came up with the frugal innovation that you just saw, where I put together a structure that enabled me to grow vegetables above the ground and vertically. What I didn't know is that it was going to be something that was going to change my life forever. Because when the harvest time came, I found out that I had more food than I could eat. For the first time, I had more food than I could eat. So I started selling to my neighbors. And before I knew it, somebody said, if you could cut that spinach of yours because it's clean, you could sell it to the restaurants and we could be able to make some money. I did that. Guess what? It was like God above was just listening to that, because for the first time in a long time, after being sick, I was able to make money. And I realized that I could be able to continue doing this. But I could not carry on supplying without involving my neighbors and other people. And before long, I was growing with my neighbors, with other people, and the business grew. And because I had not started it as a business, I didn't know that I had other revenue streams within that. Before long, somebody was asking me, how much is the growing system? And I'm like, growing system? I said, yes, the growing system. And at first I undercharged, but afterwards I realized that I needed to do it better. And as I'm standing in front of you, I've sold more than 497 growing systems, and I am working with 51 cooperatives, 603 households, and as you heard me on that video, I'm one of the luckiest people. I know my purpose. My purpose in life is to stop hunger. Having said that, I could not rest because people suddenly approached me and said, well, we've got this problem and that, could you give us some veggies and everything? And I could not give everyone veggies, and let alone for free. I decided that I needed to do the charity wrapped in dignity, whereby I could go to a school, as I was called by one of the schools, and they said that there are kids that go to school without breakfast and go back home not knowing whether they're going to eat or not. I said, well, if I can be able to put the systems and have those kids committing to taking care of those gardens and then selling the vegetables so that they could get everything that they wanted, I would be able to do it. And on the 31st of August, this month, I am going to be inviting 100 schoolgirls that are from below the poverty line. I mean, when I say below, I mean some people that say, kids that say, sometimes I'm on a fast for 3 days, and I tell myself I'm on a fast because I know that I'm not going to get food from anywhere. Those are the kids that we're going to have lunch with on that Friday, and we're going to have professional chefs cooking for them. For the first time, we are saying as umgibe, it takes a village to raise a child. But it is not going to end there as just one lunch, because that's not going to be sustainable. We are going to go on with them with the food gardens in their schools, in 10 schools, and be able to monitor them, do self-development, do everything that we can to help those kids. Because on that Friday, what we will be saying is, we acknowledge your existence. We love you. We're going to support you. And we are going to restore your dignity as a human being. Because in the African context, it takes a village to raise a child. It means that the way we raise our children is the way that talks to Ubuntu. To say that I know that we're a human being. In Zulu, when you say sawubona, it has got more meaning than hello. When I say sawubona, I'm telling you that I can see you. I acknowledge your existence. I can see you, and you can see me. You are a human being. So, my mission to stop hunger has led to something wonderful. A developmental agency called GIZ has committed to help partner with us to touch more schools in other provinces in order to make my dream to stop hunger a reality. So, when I say it takes a village to raise a child, I am putting a challenge out there to everyone to say, what is it that I'm doing? We don't want a hands out, we want a hands up, where we are going to be able to help these people sustain themselves. The program is going to be able to make sure that we develop at least 80 social entrepreneurs that are going to be peer educators for the next group that we are hoping to have next year. That way, we are developing people that are going to self-sustain. We are going to develop people that are going to, girls that are going to address the hidden hunger. The campaign or the program is called Stop Hidden Hunger. The hidden hunger I'm talking about is not about the stomach hunger only. It's about the emotional. Somebody that doesn't know anyone that has ever said that, great, I love you. Somebody that is going to accept any kind of love and even go towards the blesser syndrome that we see happening because they just want to be loved. I'm talking about children that go to school and say to us when we are talking to them, I've never eaten Kentucky in my life. They're at high school. And we say to our kids, don't eat Kentucky, it's junk. But the child just wish for one day to taste that kind of thing. I'm talking about that. I'm not here to ask you to donate anything. I'm just asking human beings to try and relate to this story. Because you are a human being, we are an adult. Imagine how it is like to be hungry when we are a child, going to school. How are you going to perform? how are you going to deal with everything that comes to you? I know people when they're hungry, even the bosses that I've worked for before, when they are hungry, they are very angry. They don't want anything. Some people are just angry because the coffee is not there. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about us preventing those kids from dropping out of school. Because there are many programs that address a girl-child problem. But hunger is the lead cause for kids dropping out of school, for kids getting pregnant, and for kids not knowing when they are being abused. Because sometimes, even if they know, they are thinking about the stomach. They are thinking about the hunger, the hidden hunger, that one of the mental, they are not challenged enough. So with the 2014 cancer, I found my purpose. And my purpose is to help those kids to dream. I want them to dream. And that's why I have this. This is a Stop Hidden Hunger campaign that started because I had cancer. I could have chosen to sit down and do nothing, but I made a choice. Even if we are not helping, we are still making a choice. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Nonhlanhla, not just a survivor, but a thriver. And thank you for the difference you're making. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but as she started very quietly, very sort of pensively talking about what Nonhlanhla had done, then she got into what she was going to do. And then she talked about her purpose, and then the energy and the enthusiasm and the lights that came on and the eyes that lit up. Thank you so much for what you're doing in our children's lives. Let's give Nonhlanhla another big round of applause. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.